Yeah, what is scalar energy? It's not electricity. It's a different type of energy. Some societies, some people have called this chi or prana or consciousness, regardless of, in reference to the custom of that country or the mores of that country. Some call that om or odic force. Others might call that mana. Whatever the term you use, it's not electricity. It's a different type of energy. This is 0 point energy. That's what I've tapped into. And this 0 point energy can do so much that you cannot readily achieve with electricity.
Do you want to wake up feeling like you are stepping into who you are meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome. Today I have on the show Tom Paladino. And Tom is a holistic medical expert, a scalar energy researcher, and a humanitarian based in Florida. And today we are diving into scalar energy and what that is, and his theory that all energy in the universe initiates as scalar energy and what that means. I'm not going to dive too much into it in this intro because I want y'all to listen to how Tom explains it. And this is one of those episodes where you can listen to it and be like, okay, this seems out there, or you could listen to it with an open mind and think like, okay, this really makes sense to me. And there's a lot of this that's backed by science. And I dive into that as I'm familiar with some of the research around this and around this type of energy and the work of like Nikola Tesla. And so Tom is going to dive into that and really what this means for you, what this means for your life, and what this means for the future of healing and healing from pathogens and healing from deficiencies and healing from imbalances and kind of this new wave of holistic healing. It's a totally different shift of, what's here presently and how we're treating things presently. So I'm really excited about this conversation and the information and this really brand new information that Tom is delivering. So let's jump in. All right, y'all, let's jump in. I'm here with Tom and we are talking about a whole new topic. I was just telling him before I hit record. This is a topic that I am not knowledgeable in. So I'm excited to I'm learning with y'all as we're talking about this, as Tom is explaining all of this, but we're talking about scalar energy. So thanks so much for joining me today, Tom.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Hope.
Yeah. So let's just kind of start with the bird's eye view here, because I know people are wondering what this is. So can you explain scalar energy for us?
Yes. I work with instruments. I work with scalar energy instruments. What is scalar energy? It's different than that of electricity. Simply put, scalar energy is from the sun and the stars. If we access electricity from an electrical outlet, so to speak, or it's derived from an electrical plant, we can access scalar energy from the sun and the stars. There is no power plant. The power plant are the sun, the stars. So I have an instrument that can capture scalar energy from the sun and the stars.
And then what do you do with this instrument?
That's a great question. So when you're working with energy, you have some type of control over nature. If we look at our electrical appliances, they provide power. They give us some type of power source.
Right.
Well, I have likewise power with this scalar energy instrument, and I'll explain. When I work with my instrument, I only work with photographs. I'll give you an explanation. I'm going to hold up to the audience a photograph of riboflavin, vitamin B2. I will actually take a photograph of a vitamin and place it inside the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
The instrument will look at riboflavin on this photograph and then send that into a person. So
what? I'm mind blown for a second.
I take photographs of nutrients. This is riboflavin.
Okay.
And I'll place this photograph into the instrument. And the instrument will reproduce that in a person. Now, we're having a conference and we're speaking by Zoom.
Right.
Obviously, you're not in my computer. I'm not in your computer. Our image is sent. We're having a communication between a video call.
Right.
I can communicate by way of a photograph, a vitamin. So you and I are using the English language, and this instrument uses the language of molecular structure. We're communicating by way of the English language, and I can communicate this molecular structure into a person.
That's crazy. I'm a little mind blown at this point. Okay, so for this instrument, did you develop this instrument on your own? Like, how did you come up with this thing?
I visited years ago an inventor's family. His family is hieronymus, and I was able back in the 90s to purchase scalar energy instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with a brilliant engineer, and since then, we have calibrated. We have improved on scalar energy instruments. So you hit the nail on the head. We are working with groundbreaking technology. Scalar energy instruments it's difficult to build and manage a scalar energy instrument. It's a prototype. It's the new science. So we are groundbreaking. We are at that threshold of this new science. So the key is, yes, the scientific advance, the instrumentation, and we're ready to present to the world this incredible new science.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been, like, when did all this, so you said in the 90s is when you kind of got started, but when did all this start where you kind of figured out like what you could do with this energy?
Well, to give you a timeline, I'm 63 years of age, so I've been at this for 50 years.
Wow.
So what is the timeline? When I was a youngster, I read about Nikola Tesla,
yes,
the great scientist.
Yes.
Tesla was working with scalar energy instruments.
Okay.
Right?
Makes
He had
sense.
developed free energy instruments. I never met him, but I read his notes.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to meet this American family, hieronymus family, and I was able to purchase their scalar energy instruments, and I was able to read the notes of that inventor, Galen Hieronymus. Now, the reason I make that so clear, there's very few bona fide scalar energy researchers.
Mm-hmm.
Very few men or women have ever developed a scalar energy instrument. It's difficult. It really is an arcane science, an esoteric principle.
Right.
What is scalar energy? It's not electricity. It's a different type of energy. Some societies, some people have called this chi or prana or consciousness, regardless of, in reference to the custom of that country or the mores of that country. Some call that om or odic force. Others might call that mana. Whatever the term you use, it's not electricity. It's a different type of energy.
Right.
This is 0-point energy. That's what I've tapped into.
Yeah.
And this 0-point energy can do so much that you cannot readily achieve with electricity. So my preference is to work with scalar energy instruments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, and if you think about it too, I mean, actually, it's funny you say this. I was reading an article the other day and it was about like sunlight. And I mean, you think about the benefits of sunlight and, people who get like seasonal affective disorder, you can get a sun lamp, but it's never going to replace like what you get from the sun. And you think about like the benefits I think of like when you're stepping on the earth, like when you go barefoot on the ground and you're grounding and you're kind of connecting with like the earth's electromagnetic field, like there's forces that we can't see that clearly have benefits. So for me, it makes total sense. The sun, the stars, like there's this innate energy in them that obviously have benefits. So it makes complete sense to me.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's the new science. So what am I presenting to your audience? The new science of Tesla science, in which there are instruments that control Tesla energy or 0-point energy. And just as we've advanced with the electrical age, I will say that the scalar age will far surpass what we've accomplished through the electromagnetic grid.
Yeah. So I've watched a lot of things on Nikola Tesla and, read things up. And I know something I was watching on like the History Channel or something was talking about how so many of his inventions, they're like basically under lock and key, like the government has them and they're like secret. So is this one of those things where it's like, because I'm wondering, like, why don't we hear about this? Like, why is this not common knowledge? Like, do you think it's one of those where it's like they're afraid of what happened with it or afraid what what are your thoughts on that?
You're absolutely correct. Nikola Tesla, his free energy devices were suppressed. Now consider, if this is free energy from the sun and the stars, and it is, then we don't need a power plant, and we can end the monopoly of controlled energy. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And many of the governments, and there's many people in government or big business that do not want to end their monopoly. They want to make money. They want to make money.
Of course. It's all about the money. Yeah, I know that makes total sense. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of this. So you gave the example of showing that picture of the riboflavin, what happens. So what are some benefits of that? How can this help in terms of like nutrition, disease, virulence, all that kind of stuff?
Very good. So also to make this very clear, when I work with people, now consider this is the quantum realm. I don't work in person. I work with a photograph. I'm going to hold up my photograph. My photograph has light attached to it. It is a scalar energy signal. So I actually place my photograph in the instrument right next to the photograph of riboflavin. Now, keep in mind, this is an energetic sharing. This is not biology. This is not Newtonian physics. So my quantum field shares with riboflavin, and riboflavin communicates with my quantum field, and I receive all of the riboflavin that I need because it's delivered by light. So riboflavin, I'm not metabolizing. My quantum field, my energy field recognizes that and creates riboflavin. I am creating riboflavin in my quantum body. It's not physical, it's non-physical energy.
Right.
Okay. So what does that do? If you're receiving the proper nutrients that you need, and those nutrients are being delivered at the cellular level, keep in mind, there is no metabolism. You don't have to worry about the circulatory system either. We are creating riboflavin within each cell. It's the perfect delivery system for a nutrient. So not only do I receive the riboflavin that I need, every cell participates in this process. I receive the riboflavin I need from head to toe.
That's crazy. So
Trish.
Yeah. Because like you said, you haven't had to metabolize it. So it's like it's going straight to where your body needs it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
great results.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Can you share a little bit, maybe some?
Many people say that after a month or two that they're on our program, their nails are much stronger. Okay. They've had brittle nails for perhaps most of their life. But if you're finally delivering the nutrients that you need by way of a molecular structure to your nails become stronger. Your hair is fuller. Your skin clears up. You have greater range of motion. You don't have perhaps the arthritic condition that you once had because you're receiving the nutrients that you need. Some people have said that their eyesight has improved somewhat.
Wow.
So we see, as you well realize, this is your field of specialty, that if we can provide the proper nutrients and the proper balance, that this helps people. Nutrition, food is medicine. Let thy food be medicine, right? So this is the perfect delivery system for nutrients. It's really, it's what I would call energetic food. It's not biological food, it's energetic food.
Right. So then the opposite of that, okay, so we're building up nutrients, we're building up health. What about the opposite of that? What are the effects on pathogens? Like, is there a way to fight pathogens with this, or?
The way I instruct this instrument is, first of all, without human reasoning. And by that, I mean, I instruct the instrument with photographs. So let's say I wanted to eradicate the herpes virus. I'm going to hold up a photograph of the herpes virus. Now, this is a magnified photograph that shows the DNA of herpes.
Right.
But it has a signature. There's a scalar energy signature. Then likewise, I would take my photograph and place it in the same instrument. And we have then a sharing of the signature of herpes with me. So everything I do is by way of a photograph. That way I can guarantee the outcome. Why? A photograph is a source of light, and a source of light, there's no human reasoning. So with my instruments, I do not employ human reasoning. Hence, there's no room for human error. Photograph of the herpes will send a signal into my photograph announcing that if there is the herpes virus in my quantum field for it to destroy or to break apart or it to disassemble. So this is quantum healing. It's not biological healing. We look at the force field. We don't work with the biology of a person. We look at their energy field. And the energy field that I have is found on this photograph. Just like your energy field is found, I can see you now on this podcast. You can see me. So the point being, if we can share information by a podcast, then I can share information with my instrument with a photograph of myself and a photograph of herpes.
Yeah.
And that alignment in which we place a photograph of a microbe side by side my photograph. That specific positional arrangement will destroy the herpes virus.
That's fascinating. So it's not so much because it's kind of like when you talk about like putting things in the quantum and like manifestation stuff that you always hear about, you don't talk in terms of negation. So you're not having to tell it what
Correct.
to do. It's just like, it's the divine energy that knows what to do.
Yes. And the way the instrument is calibrated, the way it's designed, the science behind that, we call it reverse phase, in which it will break down the molecular bond. So in synopsis with a vitamin, it's in phase we create. With a pathogen, it's out of phase, we break down the molecular bonds. So it's either contracted or expansive.
Right.
In phase or out of phase.
Right.
In phase for a micronutrient, out of phase for a toxin or a pathogen.
Yeah. Do you have any stories of people who have been able to, get rid of pathogens, viruses, bacteria, anything like that with this?
Many. I'm going to show the audience. This is a photograph of a clinic in Delhi, India. It's an HIV clinic. And we've worked with thousands of people at this clinic, Om Prakash, and everybody that we've worked with tells us that they no longer have a viral load for HIV.
Wow.
Thousands of people. Now the key element here is people send us their results. I have to rely upon people.
Sure.
For instance, here's one of the PCR tests from Om Prakash, and the red arrows signifying no viral load.
That's crazy.
After we work with them, people have no viral load for the HIV virus. Now,
that's crazy.
Keep in mind, my work is unique. It's never been duplicated. So I do not have a hospital or a clinic other than this clinic to speak to my work. There is no university working with my instrumentation. My instrumentation is unique. Hence, my results are unique. So I have to prove what I'm doing by way of testimony. This is the testimony.
Yeah. So when you're working with people, is it like a certain number of sessions? Is it multiple sessions that you have to work? Like, how does it work?
Well, we always start people off with our website, 15 days of free sessions. And within 15 days of eradicating pathogens and, if you will, creating nutrients, after 15 days, people feel better. And then we allow people to decide if they want to go on. There's a month-by-month program.
Right.
The key prospect is to introduce this to people. Give people a 15-day free session. It's a unique experience. Why? Because my instruments are unique. And then only people can judge the efficacy of these 15 days of these sessions.
Right.
And that's the way the science stands right now. I don't have anybody there's no peer-reviewed results. I don't have any peer. Nobody's introduced this type of instrumentation. My instruments are unique. My protocol is unique. I have to rely upon people. There is no scientific body of evidence. We are the beginning of the scientific body of evidence. That's how brand new this science is.
Yeah. So are you the only one that has these instruments? You're the only one that can do, okay. So then I guess, where do you see this going? Do you see working with like research labs, with universities, with hospitals? Like, where do you see to expand this so it's not just you?
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. And Hope, thank you again for this opportunity to speak to your audience. I need to get the word out. These discoveries of Tesla, Hieronymus, and my discoveries are incredible. We can change the world.
Yeah.
But we need people to be educated and at least aware of what we're doing. So that's where we're at right now. We're still trying to introduce this to people.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So is there like a level of, okay, so for example, I've had people on here and I've talked about all the kind of things on a podcast. We've talked about all things woo-woo, like you name it. So with that kind of thing, for example, like if somebody's working with like past lives or something, there has to be like a level of like receptivity, right? To be open to that kind of thing when you're having a session. So is it kind of the same thing with this, where are there people who don't really buy into the idea, so they don't have the same results? Do you know what I mean?
People are curious. So they'll at least try the 15-day free trial. And by golly, after the 15 days, people feel better. And then they believe. Many people then start to believe. I realize that this has never been done before. If somebody would introduce this to me on a way of a podcast, they said, well, I'll try the 15-day trial. I have nothing to lose except my germs. And why not? So, again, It's as groundbreaking research, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to spend that quality time with people because, it's their life.
Yeah.
It's their decision.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. So you mentioned kind of the path to get you here, but what really, when you got started in this 50 years ago, whatever, what got you interested in this?
I saw how the technology was changing, ever advancing. And I said to myself, this is the future of mankind in many respects. That technology, when used appropriately, can really help people. And when I came upon the work of Nikola Tesla, I saw that his technology was head over heels. There's nothing to compare to his genius. And I said to myself, why aren't we using this? Well, it became apparent to me a long time ago, we were using his technology over 100 years ago, but it was suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how much of a sea change this will be for mankind to have free energy. Tesla was able to light up light bulbs at a distance without wires.
Right.
That's free energy.
Yeah.
If we had free energy, this would change. It would be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, free energy. It would change the energy industry forever.
Yeah.
So where are we at now? I'm trying to reproduce his work. I'd like to move forward and produce free energy devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I love that. And that was what I saw on the History Channel, whatever I was watching. It was about that free energy and how he was lighting things up without wires and that, I didn't know much about him. I think until I watched that documentary or that, whatever it was, a documentary, and how, I don't know, I find it really frustrating that there's all these incredible things that he's invented and half of them we don't even know about that could literally change like the trajectory of humankind.
Yes, it will change the trajectory of humankind. Exactly, Hope. Does that make any sense?
It makes zero sense.
Not to utilize these gifts from God?
Right.
I think your audience isn't very intelligent. They see the contrivance here.
Yeah.
They see the suppression. So I ask those within earshot, help me out. Help me get this information out there. That's the point of my work. We are revisiting the work of Nikola Tesla. Obviously, God gave us this incredible technology to be utilized. Let's utilize it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. I think there's so much more work to be done on, like you're saying, like, I think just utilizing what God gave us. And yeah, I feel like it all goes back to, obviously it all goes back to, profit and making money and stuff. But I think also we've like overcomplicated things. It's a freaking sun. Like the sun's been around for how many, millions or billions of years, whatever. Like that's all we've needed this whole time. Like it's mind blowing.
Yeah, you're right. And we chose the inferior energy,
right? Yeah,
electricity,
totally,
rather than the superior energy, scalar energy.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so people can do a 15-day trial of Scalar Light, right? And this is at your website. Can you tell people kind of what that looks like and how to get started?
So we have a standardized session available at our website in which we will, again, assemble over 350 nutrients. And then we will, number two, we'll eradicate microbes. We can eradicate thousands of microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi. And then the third modality, we're able to recalibrate brainwaves and chakras. We call it the chakra balancing.
Yeah.
So the chakra balancing serves as an emotional uplift. So a nutrient program, we eliminate microbes in the chakra balancing. We do that for 15 days. And the greater majority of people say that they feel better after those 15 days of that scalar energy session. We're treating people 24 hours around the clock. So with all of that intense energy work, people feel better.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting started. And where can they find out how to get started with that?
Yeah, the website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR. Please visit the website, read a few of the articles, sign up. It's under no obligation. There's no gimmicks with us. We want to introduce this to the world. You can register your entire family, get their permission. You can send in photographs of family members, include your pets. Sometimes people will send in 6 or 7 photographs of family members, which is fine. And then the entire family can feel the benefits.
Yeah. Why not? Okay, so I'll put all the links, all that in the show notes, of course, and then the website for the 15-day free trial, and then check out some of the videos on YouTube just to kind of explain more of what Tom explains more about what he does, and that would be helpful too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This new science. Thank you for being open to this.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, I am all about having an open mind for everything, which is why, like I said, we've covered like every possible topic on this podcast. So I'm an open mind for everything. And I think I love this. I love the concept. It makes sense to me. And it's, when you're able to understand the difference between like Newtonian physics and quantum physics, yes. I think like it makes sense, and understanding like kind of how Nikola Tesla's mind worked and stuff, like it totally makes sense.
Yes, it is a different science. It's not Newtonian science. I'm glad you brought that out. You and I learned in high school and college is fine, but that's Newtonian science. Mm-hmm. There's another scientific book that needs to be written, Scalar Energy Scientists, a scientific book. And that's what we're presenting, quantum science.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally. I love it. So I have one more question I want to ask you. It's a question I like to ask everybody as we close out here. And everything that Tom was talking about, I have in the show notes for y'all. So go click the link, go get your trial started out. The question I want to ask you as we finish is, what do you think is the most important thing you can do to live with purpose?
Love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. It's the golden rule. And that addresses everything. To love the Creator, love your fellow man, and to love yourself. And if everybody did that, this would be paradise. Mm-hmm. Now, that's where I'm trying to go with my research. I'm not trying to compete with people. I'm trying to help people.
Right.
So we're going to put aside all the competition and all the fighting, and we're going to cooperate.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Such a good, it's the golden rule. I don't think you can beat that. And honestly, I don't think anybody has ever mentioned the golden rule as the way to live with purpose. And I totally agree with you. That's it. It encompasses everything, right? It's you, it's other people, it's God. I love it. It's perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for your time and for sharing this and just for your mission. And I am sending all the prayers and good vibes and everything that we can get the word out and we can spread the word on this and like really change how our planet is operating.
We're doing it. Thanks for your opportunity.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I know how I can provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics that you want to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's @thehopepedraza or visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.